Okay, hello again. This is now tarot lesson number 102. And today I'm going to give you some guidelines if you're going to do a horoscope spread. After that, I'm not quite sure what to do. So if you have suggestions or ideas of things you'd like to talk about or things you'd like me to cover, let me know in a comment or send me an email directly. And we'll see what we do next. Before that, some of you may know the Tarot Reader Volume 1 that I took the first 13 lessons in this series and got the transcript, and then I turned it into something readable because the too many ums and unfinished sentences in the video. It's okay if you're watching it, but it's not good to read. So I fixed it up and added more information. I'm working on volume 2, which is going to be lessons 14 to 26. And I've edited it all. And I'm on lesson 25 today, the 13th of October. And so it should be available next month. I'll let you know. And I'm calling it the Tarot Reader Volume 2. And then the subtitle is going to be, the name's Wand, Ace of Wands, because it's not James Bond, the name's Wand, which I kind of enjoyed that title. Okay, so if you're going to do a horoscope spread, begin with a time period that you're going to cover. There's no point in doing it for your whole life. Well, you can do it for your whole life, but that's maybe a bit much. So maybe do 3 months or 6 months, something like that. Know in advance, the time period that you're going to cover. Because that means that the fourth house, which shows the condition at the end of life, is going to be an indication of the kind of shape that you'll be in 3 months from now or 6 months from now, whatever it happens to be. And you combine the card here with the current position, the self, and you get an idea of the changes that the person is going to go through. So if you get the Sun card here and the Tower reversed up in the fourth house, you know that you start well, but you're going to end up in a mess, so to speak. Whereas if you've got the Tower reversed here and the Sun here in the fourth house upright, you know that things are messy at the moment and you need to reconstruct everything, but you're going to do well and you'll be pleased at your progress that you've made 3 months from now or 6 months from now because of the card in the fourth house. So you do a full shuffle. We know the time period and we do the shuffle. You may then, once you've done all the shuffling, take the top 12 cards, or 12 houses. So you take the 12 cards and lay them out. You might instead, if you don't quite trust your shuffling and the top 12 cards, maybe what you do is you spread cards out like that and you say, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you pick 12 cards at random, and then you would use those. I've lost count how many I've got here, so let me just take these and say that's 12 cards. Then you gather this lot up and put it to the side. So now we've got the 12 houses. I put these pens here so that I know what the camera's going to pick up. So house 1, and maybe if you're doing a reading for somebody else, you explain to the person or describe to the person what each house represents so that they then have an idea of what kinds of questions they can ask or what they can ask about. So the first is the self. The second is income and value, is what you care about. The third is brothers and sisters. The fourth is the father of the home and the condition at the end of life. The fifth is children. The sixth is sickness and service, the work you're meant to do, so to speak. Partnerships, death and regeneration, especially regeneration. It's not so much about death. The ninth is your philosophy. The 10th is business. The 11th, your friends, as well as your hopes and aspirations. That's another thing to consider. You can look at the card here for you, and you can look at the card here for hopes and aspirations to get an idea of whether your hopes and aspirations are realistic and going to be achieved, or whether you're going to be disappointed at the end of the period that we're talking about. And then the 12th is karma. So if you're dealing with somebody else, you say to them, what do you want to know about? You, rather than turn all the cards and tell them about everything, about every area in their life, that's going to be too much. And you're better off to say, what do you want to know about? And I've already told you the meanings of the houses, so to speak. So what do you want to know about? And and then you, the reader, take your lead from what they ask. You're familiar with how a card can be read from multiple points of view. So the 5th is the first child, or children generally, but especially the first child. The 7th is the second child. And the 9th is the 3rd, and the 11th is the 4th, and so on. So there are different ways of looking at the same house, depending on what the question is. So maybe the person says, okay, well, tell me about me. You would then turn the card in the first house, and I happen to get the Fool. So you talk to them about what's going on now, what they're involved in, what their interest is, what's possible, what they're thinking about. And with the Fool here, now is a good time for a brand new you, because the Fool it's major trump number 0. It's full of possibilities. It's got ideas. It's maybe a little bit risky, but it's worth taking the chance of doing something spectacular because the card is upright. If the card had been upside down, then be careful, because if you take a risk or do something difficult or something out of the ordinary, then because the card is upside down, it's probably not going to work the way you want. This may be valuable if you learn a lesson from it, but ideally, we're looking for things to flow and to have the idea that we're in harmony with our inner self. So with the Fool here, you're in good shape, and especially if you want to do something different or do something new or do something you've never done before or try something new, because the Fool is here. So you tell them something like that and then say, what next? And maybe they say, tell me about my husband or wife. So you look over here and you get the 10 of Swords. You turn the card for the 7th house because they asked about the marriage partner. And so we get the 10 of Swords. So you talk a little bit about what the marriage partner is like at the moment, what they're going through. And because it's a 10, it's 1 plus nothing gets you back to 1 again. They're at the end of something. They're at the end of a cycle. And they're about to begin a new one. You're beginning something new, but you're more in tune with what you really want or what you really need. Whereas your marriage partner is making a fresh start, it's time to make a fresh start. But maybe they're not so confident. Here with the Fool upright, you have confidence in your own ability, in your own direction, your own purpose. The marriage partner, because it's a 10 of Swords, is not quite so sure, not quite so confident. And maybe they're remembering things that didn't work in the past and expecting, or they may be thinking, if that happens again, I'm really in trouble. So maybe what's important for the marriage partner is to realize what didn't work or what did work and do more of what was good and do less of what was bad or what they didn't enjoy, or avoid the types of people who double-crossed them or the types of people who promised to help but didn't. And I'm saying this because we've got a sword in the back, and the idea is that you get stabbed in the back by people. That happens. It's not something that is always bad, especially if you learn from it. So, then you talked about, so depending what you say, the questioner may come up with related information. So maybe you're talking about the husband or the wife, and then the questioner mentions their in-laws. So they talk about, and maybe they say, well, my sister-in-law is struggling at the moment as well. What's coming up for her? So this is the marriage partner. The third house, 1, 2, 3, is brothers and sisters. So if you start from the marriage partner, 1, 2, 3, this would show the sister-in-law, who's represented by the Hanged Man reverse. So now, instead of you having to come up with something nice to say or something supportive about the sister-in-law, you've got an insight or a view or a window into what the sister-in-law is going through at the moment. And here, because it's the Hanged Man upside down, she's frustrated because the Hanged Man upright is suspension and delay. So things take time to develop, but it's upside down. So either she's been waiting overly long for something to happen, or maybe because it's the self of the sister-in-law, maybe she knows what she needs to do for herself to bring about a change in her life. Because 12 the hangman's number 12, there are 12 months in a year. So 12 in its own way can be a complete cycle as well. So because the hangman is upside down, she maybe knows what she needs to do but hasn't been doing it, or is reluctant to actually commit to a course of action. Maybe she knows she ought to change or stop particular habits, but she just keeps doing them. And then the person might say, okay, how is that going to turn out? Is she going to be happy eventually? So you start with the sister-in-law, and what do you think? You could look to the fourth, 1, 2, 3, 4, for the condition at the end of life, or the condition that she will experience in a few months. Or you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, the hopes and aspirations of the sister-in-law. So maybe you add a little bit of this, that because it's a 10 and upright, if she makes changes, if she begins again, it will work, because the black clouds are lifting and there's a new day beginning, or there's new possibilities. So all she needs to do is make an effort and move in the direction that she really wants to go in, and she'll find that things happen an awful lot quicker than she expects they can. Because it can be sometimes that we get in our own way, and because we expect things are going to take forever, they take forever. So if the sister-in-law can take one step in a desired direction, she'll find that it's relatively easy, and the next step is easier, and the one after that is easier again. It's a bit like, remember when you were 18 or 17 and there was this person you wanted to ask them out, and you couldn't, you had to phone them or talk to them, and you couldn't. It was just you were too nervous about it. But then you found that you picked up the phone and called them, and do you want to go out? Sure. Okay. So it wasn't as bad as you thought it was going to be. This is the kind of thing you get here. If the sister-in-law is willing to make the first step, things will flow, because the card here looks bad, but it's a 10 and it's upright. It's going to work out well. And maybe you then look at the card here for the final outcome, and it's the 7 of batons. So here we've got the person on top. So the sister-in-law, is going to be on top. And I've mentioned before in other videos with the 7 of batons that you're on top of the hill, you're defending yourself, but the people down below can't really hurt you. So the sister-in-law is going to discover that one small step is going to produce lots of benefits. And also she's going to discover that she didn't really need to defend herself, because there really wasn't that much threat in the first place. So you're talking like this. So maybe the questioner then wants to know, you talked about the final outcome. Maybe the questioner then wants to know, okay, where will I be 3 months from now or 6 months from now? 1, 2, 3, 4, the final outcome. the Three of Coins, upright. This is a card of mastery and expertise. Okay, so if the Fool represents a new course of activity or a new career or a promotion or something like, I'm saying that because coins is money, so it can make us think of work or business or what you do, what you get paid for. And because the card shows expertise, because you've got the expert on the bench waiting for orders from these two. So if the Fool represents going back to school or getting more qualifications or doing a night school course to learn a foreign language or to do something, it's going to work out well because of the nature of the Three of Coins. You will enjoy it. You'll learn a lot from it. You'll be able to pass on the information that you gain to other people because this person might be instructing these people as well. So it looks good. So whatever this Fool would represent, whatever new activities you want to become involved in or new projects that you undertake, things will go well and you will benefit. You'll enjoy what you're doing. You'll become more skillful. You'll become better off financially as well as emotionally, and just you'll feel it'll give, if your confidence needs a boost, you get a boost by doing what it is that you want to do and going for whatever it is that you want to go for. So at this point, maybe the questioner's had enough and they can't think of anything else. Or maybe they say, tell me more about my sister-in-law. So what you do is you can lay another 12 cards on top of this lot. So is that one? Yeah. And so you lay another round, but you don't turn them over because you take your lead from the questioner. If they want to know about something, you turn the card. If they don't want to know about it, you don't turn the card. So tell me more about my sister-in-law. We take this other card that appeared here, and we've got the Queen of Pentacles reversed. So this is maybe why, or tells you what the sister-in-law has been holding back from doing. And it's represented by the Queen of Pentacles. This could be her, because the sister-in-law is a woman and the queen's a woman. Or maybe it's an older person that she's concerned about or who is holding her back. Maybe it's her mother, the sister-in-law's mother, represented by the Queen of Pentacles, who has too much control over her at the moment. But Pentacles is money, so maybe she thinks, I want to do this, but I can't afford it. So you might want to then look at the card here for the sister-in-law's income. But if we want to keep it just with the sister-in-law, with the Queen of Pentacles, it's a bit like you need to know what your policy is in a particular area. So if you think about what are the rules and regulations you want in your life, in different areas of your life, and be clear about what those rules and regulations are and stick to them, you'll be better off. But a lot of people, they want something and then they talk themselves out of it, but they still want it. So they talk themselves into it, but then they explain to themselves why they can't have it or why they shouldn't have it. And people often go back and forth like this, wanting something but then talking themselves out of it. And this can be what the sister-in-law is doing. And that can be why she is stuck, because she won't make up her mind. So if at that point the questioner said, that's very much, that's enough, thank you very much, you gather up the rest of the cards. You don't turn them over and look at them. It's private, it's personal, and it's none of your business. I don't mean to be harsh. I'm not saying that you would be nosy, but that's the reason that you don't look at the rest of the cards that you haven't turned over. You're meant to take your lead from the questioner. So we've done that, and we give it a quick shuffle, and then if I can do this better, look at that. Okay, and then I turn the cards over, put them away, and that's it, finished until the next time. So that's something about a horoscope spread. If I've left things out, or if you've got follow-up questions, let me know. But if you've got other ideas that you would like lesson 103 and beyond to be about, let me know, and I'll see what I can do. So thanks for watching, and have a good day. Okay, bye-bye.